The recent wave of HD 2D titles in multiple consoles has begun to sprung off a lot of offshoots in the recent years, and one of the things that we have begun to see is full 3D games actually being rendered like they're actual pixel art titles. And today we're going to be talking about a brand new one that was just recently revealed, a roguelike action game called Metal Bringer, which will be making its way onto PlayStation 5 consoles and PC via Steam, and they're talking about a potential Nintendo Switch release making its way onto the console in late 2024. This is being created by Playism and Alpha Wing, which have made a couple of really interesting titles, specifically indie titles in the past. For those who may not necessarily know, this is also from the same developers that brought to you Samurai Bringer, which is a really interesting roguelike action RPG game that released back in 2022, where you play as Susanoo and defeat world-famous Japanese samurais as you collect combat techniques to create your own fighting style. It has received plenty of positive reviews in Steam. I don't believe the game is currently available on consoles yet, so it would be interesting to see if they decide to port that over to consoles. But at the end of the day, this group of developers in Alpha Wings have been working on really interesting titles before, and Metal Bringer is looking to kind of bring that as well. In their blog update, they mentioned that Metal Bringer is the second game for the Bringer series, and this time is settled in a completely different setting. You fight in the science fiction world with androids and giant robots in a horde-based set of combat encounters were even more satisfying than their last title. And of course, you control and combat as will evolve as you choose to fight. All of this is of course in Japanese, so I'm doing some light translating on the go. When they talk about the actual story aspects of the game, they talk about this virtual reality called Rudra, which has some kind of like aspirations to be all-world controlling. They see it as some sort of like fairy tale coming into life, where in many years past, as humanity took refuge underground just simply to avoid their onslaught or potential demise in the future. No one's ever lived under a sky under the control of the AIs or the virtual reality taken over, so at the same point, in order to keep yourself 100% human, you kind of need to go underground. So essentially they mentioned that there's this main protagonist called Zuria that wakes up in a laboratory and finds out that she has been put into cryosleep for almost 1,000 years without her knowledge. In order to search for the rest of humanity, she built labor with her trusty buds, essentially the robots themselves, and sets off to investigate just what has transpired within the last millennia where she was put to sleep. Because this game will feature some of the original ideas that you saw in their original Samurai Bringer, you're going to have highly customizable player characters, build and control android soldiers called Labor, and have pilot them as giant machines called Arms. Each and every single Labor and Arms you build is highly customizable. You can change the color and appearance for their features and swap out parts to change their fighting styles. The sheer variety and the character customization will allow you to create and fight with the mechs of your dreams. And this is something that we do get to see a lot in the actual gameplay trailers that they showcased originally. I'm going to be showing those looping in the background a little bit, where they're basically full customization options at your disposal for you to be able to kind of control their robots and let them do whatever it is that you want. The more you play though, the stronger you'll get in typical gameplay fashion. In Samurai Bringer, the original title, you could mix and match combat techniques to create every single step as part of your very own actions. But in Metal Bringer, you instead collect discs which contain apps that are installed into your Labor, essentially your robot. These apps strengthen your character and power up your actions in easier and more intuitive ways, making it for a more exciting and satisfying experience to mow down hordes of enemies as your character keeps growing stronger. So of course, what you want to basically do is collect plenty of these brand new discs. They'll give you brand new skills, they'll stat boost you in one way or another, and you're going to be able to become stronger in that regard as you level up. Simple gameplay mechanics. Another one of the new things they mentioned here in the blog updates is the new technologies for both visual and audio. This game uses the same voxel style as Samurai Bringer, but just like Samurai Bringer, it also implements real-time pixel art generating systems that will also feature a new ray tracing technology, fully lit environments. The music is too made with the newest technology as it's played in real time and it changes according to the situation. And that's what really drew my eye into this game. The way that they are implementing a kind of like shader effect for you to be able to have pixel art rendering, so it looks like a pixel art game, but it's not actually a pixel art game. It is a 3D asset fully experienced title where you simply just have full 3D rendered gameplay with the look of pixel art, which is something that I even spoke about when I was talking about, for example, my experience with the demo of Star Ocean's Second Story R, where most of the map, if not 90% of the map that you do get to explore, everything is fully rendered in 3D, and that's exactly how the game looks. Each one of the characters is also rendered in fully 3D. However, they have a shader placed on top of them with pixel art overlaying, so they look like pixel art. It actually looks more realistic, like more traditional pixel art. I shouldn't say realistic, I should say more traditional pixel art than this, where this actually does look like the voxels are not necessarily meshing 100% perfectly with the 3D assets and the pixel art, but it still looks very unique in its own way, and it's certainly something that stands out at first glance. The last thing that they mention is, of course, the all-star creative team. The key art of Surya characters design is done by Susuhiro Yasura, and the one writing the team, or one of the best writers on the team, is Sami Shinosaki, which is another person that was brought on board. Susuhito Yasuga is the illustrator and manga artist and character designer for multiple popular games and media, such as Dorara and Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor. So if you're into that art style, you already know what you're expecting. Sami Shinosaki, though, is a novelist who's known for Armored Core and Fire Emblem series. So people who have basically worked on this genre before and know exactly what it is that they're doing. So I'm certainly very excited to see where this game is going to end up as it makes its way onto, once again, PlayStation 5 consoles and PC Steam, expected somewhere around spring of 2024, but potentially later into 2024, maybe the fall or the winter, for the Nintendo Switch. That is still up for discussion according to the developers, and I would love to see just what they're able to do. Now, of course, in the actual blog update, they did speak about like ray tracing technology, so of course, presumably those will be on PS5 and PC. Obviously, they wouldn't be able to make their way onto the Nintendo Switch, but of course, like we've talked about multiple times already, when I talk about these really interesting looking titles, there's a potential that it makes its way to the Nintendo Switch 2 instead of the base Nintendo Switch, since it would be releasing sometime around this time of the year, next year. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.